Right, guys?
No, we don't need to explain ourselves.
No, we don't. We don't need to know what just happened. Alright, so we just introduced Rowan, who's our guest today. We just showed her a video of Turd Flinging Monkey, a huge name in the Mgtow community, which is...
Mgtow is basically, what's the difference between an ideology and an ideology? He's not.
I've got no.
I think it's the same thing. Just let's say the same thing.
It's a Mgtow is about like men going their own way, so they've sort of like gone against women, the system, women altogether, and I think the majority of these guys are doing robots and sex dolls.
Well, Turd Flinging Monkey is definitely doing robots and sex dolls.
Yeah, the majority of them are just hurt guys, and they think women are all the same, so they're just going, they're just not, I don't know, they're not doing women anymore.
And yeah, most of them become Mgtow because they'll go through something like a divorce or like a really rough breakup or something like that. So because they, they're coming from a place of hate, they're like, fuck it, all women are the same, fuck it, I'm off that.
And that's the extreme side of red pill, which we'll be talking about soon, as well as blue pill. So what did you think of the extreme side of Mgtow?
So he was talking about how being a single parent mother will never be as beneficial to the child as having a mother and a father. But then he spoke about how his own mother was a single parent, so I think he's got like some issues there. Like, and he's saying that single parents are crap.
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with. He said there's no situation in which a single parent would be better than having two parents.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous because, like the father or the mother could be abusive.
So it depends on the parent or who the parent is, right? Because I think. So this was a while ago. I was looking at statistics and stuff about single mothers and the children and like the life outcomes of those children, and it showed like most kids coming from single mother households, but it didn't say single parent households, which was weird.
Yeah.
But I didn't really look deep into it, and they said most of them end up either having bad life outcomes or ending up in with conduct disorder or just causing trouble and ending up in a juvenile system, or in the future ending up in jail and prison.
Yeah.
Or just like dropping out of college as well, that kind of thing.
Did it not talk about how, so basically there could be like confounding variables there. So say for example, like if like not the majority, but if like, kids with a single a mother without a dad, basically, like if they're more likely to end up in like juvenile detention centres, get into trouble, could you not say that could also be, so say for example if the father as a kid had, I don't know, like whatever kind of like behavioural disorders that genetically he could have passed on to the kids, making them more likely to get into trouble, or say if he was abusive, she cut ties with him and raised her kids on her own, and then those experiences because of the father might make them more likely to get into those situations when they're older. And like, did the study discuss any of that, or was it just?
To tell you the truth, it was a while back, so I think it may have not, but that's not what I remember. I think that's the one thing I remember, and of course there could be confounding. There's always confounding variables. But
I feel like for this, that would be
like for example,
one.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I come from a single parent house,
Me too.
and I always think,
Single.
And I always tell my mom, hey, you're lucky I'm not doing drugs or in prison or in a gun right now. But yeah, so like, it just depends. It depends even on like the genetic factors as well.
Yeah.
So.
But that's what I mean.
It depends.
Yeah.
So he, like Turd Flinging Monkey, I think he's mentioning the extreme of it. So that's the extreme.
But he wasn't though, because he wasn't mentioning the extreme. He said in every situation there is no way that a single parent who's a mother would be more beneficial than having a mother and a father. And he said that if you said you had a great experience as a child and you're well adjusted as an adult, that is not due to having
How parenting.
Yeah.
Like you're the exception to the rule.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, he didn't even say exception to the rule. He was like, yeah, you might be well adjusted, but you would have been even better if your dad had been around. It's like,
But what if like
bullshit.
the dad was good? What if the dad and mum was both good parents? Do you still think a mum would do a better job at having a good dad and a good mum?
No, I think it depends on the situation. Like, it depends on the individual case. I mean, I think, like, you know, you don't necessarily need to be, as well, so I don't think you necessarily need to be, like, together in a marriage to be able to raise kids well. Like, you hear of people, like, consciously uncoupling and co-parenting and stuff.
Right.
So, like, you don't necessarily need to be together to raise kids. And he didn't say whether he meant single parents who also see their other parents, or whether they're, like, solely raised by that parent. I don't know.
Do you think in some cases the woman pushes her feminine sort of agenda onto a boy, onto a child, so then he goes into the world having more, like, feminine aspects than a male would normally have?
Well, it depends. What's her feminine agenda?
Ooh.
No, serious
That is
question. Like,
Yeah, because I think
Well, if
like
you have problems, let your emotions come out more rather than think of them logically. Why would you be crying? Instead of saying, think about it logically and work upon it. Sit there and cry, and it's okay to cry. That's one.
yeah, but I guess, like, again, I think it depends on the situation. I don't know. I mean, like, okay, so yeah, like, but this is like the idea that the mother is like the only source of, like,
influence on him.
yeah, and how to
Yeah.
deal with emotional stuff. Whereas, like, say if this kid's like, I don't know.
Because it all starts at the home, right? So maybe I don't know. Go on. So,
No, like,
yeah.
because in school you have, like, male teachers, peers,
The majority are
uncles,
female.
granddads.
Oh yeah, in schools most
Majority are
teachers
female.
are definitely female.
Really?
Yeah, like
Really?
Yeah.
At my school we had loads of male teachers.
I think at our school,
It's pretty
there
even
was, like,
split.
obviously there were the PE teachers. Then
What, who are male?
yeah,
Yeah.
I had a male math teacher. Like the majority of the teachers were female.
Interesting. I don't think they were at my school. I don't know, but
I think at most schools it is.
really?
Yeah.
It speaks
Are you
about
sure?
yeah, it speaks about the statistics in one of the books we're going to be reviewing.
Yeah.
Knowing Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah.
I'd recommend that.
Okay.
We're going to be reviewing it anyway.
Yeah, look out for a review for that.
Mm.
I've talked to the audience.
Okay.
Like, share, subscribe, all that. Yeah. Go on.
No, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, so no more Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do that as well.
But yeah, basically this turd flinging monkey guy, right? He sounds like whatever, like, agenda his mum gave him, like, what, I don't fucking know. He just sounds, and I don't want to use this, like, term because it's not PC, but a bit emotionally damaged, and, like, he has some agenda and, like, some huge fucking chip on his shoulder. He keeps on saying stuff as well, like, oh, if you look at the statistics, but then the statistics are his anecdotal stories and, like, how he personally feels about something. I can't remember. There was one quote that, like, really stood out. Okay, so he said, women cannot have careers, or women can't be, like, good in their careers, or, like, a woman can have a career, or she can be a mother. If she chooses to do both, she'll do both badly.
Yeah.
Like, this is just really laughable for me. But, and I mean, like, as well, why are we not praising women for at least attempting to take that on? Because so you want a career and you want to be a mother, and maybe you do those things because, you, like, you know, they're exclusive. You want to be a mother, you also want to have a career. But a lot of having a career is to be able to provide for your kids,
You're right.
and to be able to, like, make them more, what's the word I'm looking for? To be able to, like,
Give them a chance in life. or
yeah, and
Give
but what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
something. Just so they're
socially-
provided for, so they have the opportunities to go.
yeah, but I also
Understand.
mean, so, like, sort of socializing them in like socially mobile. So, you know, say if you have like a mother that works full time, I don't know, she like has some sort of job, I guess like her agenda then is kind of going to empower you to be like, oh, I can do what I want to do. Like, you know, she has colleagues, I have like role models in my life. I don't know, at least like for me and my mum, that's how I kind of view it. Like,
is that what you were talking about? Like, so say for example, so how are you going to have enough time to raise a boy into a man if you're focused on your career as well?
Is that a question?
I was trying to link it to what you were saying.
Sorry, I didn't actually answer your question. I mean, I don't know, like I don't have kids and I am not male, so I would really struggle to answer that question because, you know,
yeah, I think
not my story.
Like, to answer your question about how to raise or how to make sure, like, you know, a man is raised in a way that he can face challenges instead of crying about the challenges. Not that I'm saying women cry about the challenges, but like, in order to like control his emotions and be stoic.
But they are more emotional than men.
Stoic.
Stoic? What's stoic?
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
I'm just saying. And fuck PC as well. Just saying.
Hold my train of thought. Right, so a boy's gonna need like male role models. We find that in like our friends. We find that in like the teachers. We find that in like maybe, I don't know, the pastor or something like that. But a woman can't be the child's father. She can be the child's mother.
No, because
you know
right.
I mean?
But the fact that you're saying that a boy, male, whatever, needs a male role model as opposed to a female one is again just putting like men on pedestals like that. I feel that is very red pill because it's like, or like Mgtow. What is it? Fucking
men going their own way.
I don't
That's
give a shit. Like, whatever. The fact that society is like, oh, he needs a male role model, like how terrible that he's only got this human with a vagina to be able to teach him. Like, fuck it. Like, what's wrong with a woman being a primary caregiver and also like the main source of like how to regulate your emotions?
We ain't saying nothing wrong with it. It's just.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
It's easier for a human to get on better with the same human he is for a male to get on with a male.
Says who?
Statistics, biology.
Me and TK were talking about how like I don't have many female friends.
And
can you cut that out though? I'm Rowan, I have no friends.
I thought we were friends.
One of the things red pills would say is that it's impossible to be a friend of a female.
Oh yeah.
And,
why?
I think that's one of the questions as well. Like,
because
there's
an ulterior motive behind it. The woman knows he wants to get that gash. He wants to get that pom pom.
TK.
And the women.
I like me some ebony.
And the women, they say that the women would sort of like read him out. It's a friend with benefits, but she's never gonna let him score. He ain't getting no free time.
Yeah, she's like flinging him on for the free meals type thing situation.
And I think one of the guys making a YouTube video on it, he like, no, this is like extreme sides of it.
Okay.
He's like asking all the women, can men and women be friends? And they all like have a sneaky sort of smile on their faces and they're like, yes. When like all the men are like, no. It's just interesting. And I just find like about this masculinity, women being a bit more masculine, it's pretty hard to be...
Did you say hot or hard?
Hard. It's pretty hard for a man to be a man for a woman who already enjoys being a man.
Yeah.
How can you be a good man to her and sort of like in the traditional way, head of the house, if she's already enjoying being a man herself? And
so would you say that she's not looking for a man, she's looking for someone who's more feminine then?
What I don't understand is
roles
like...
are changing,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they are. And like this whole argument is based on the idea that like you need to fit your gender's social construct. Like, I don't know.
So are you saying gender is a social construct?
Oh, I'm not even getting into that. Like, I'm saying that the whole argument is like, you know, how can a man be the head of the house? Or what you said, how can the man be the what? Like, why is that necessary? I'm not saying that, you know, I want to marry someone that's just going to be my bitch and I'm going to like dominate stuff.
Okay, so here's one of the questions, which is basically what you just said.
Before you say that, sorry, I think that's just a natural occurrence for humanity to survive as like the years went on, like back in the day. like
I
the
don't know.
structure was the order within the chaos.
But I kind of feel like I don't know like
The
how
structure was
for
the
men-
order within the chaos.
Yeah. We had the order within the chaos. Of course, it's chaos. It's always chaos. But back in the day, when they had more traditional roles, it worked for humanity's survival.
Did it though? Like we weren't very woke. Do you know what I mean? Like it might have worked in terms of like people didn't step out of line.
Very well. But I think it was pretty clear that okay, the man will go hunt.
No,
and then
because
the woman will
you're
go
saying
gather,
this.
and
Okay,
then
but you're
type
saying
of
that from
thing.
like a male perspective, like in cave people times.
Yeah.
Like yeah, and I don't even know enough about that to comment on it. But yeah, the point.
It's a good
Like,
subject.
I'm trying.
keep going.
No, because I'm trying. I just lost my point, and
It's
then I
a
had.
good subject.
It is,
I had-
isn't it? So like.
Oh yeah, sorry. So from a male's perspective, you're saying, why does it keep escaping me?
I'm saying.
Okay, sorry, again.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just thinking
okay.
to the camera.
All right.
No,
So.
no. I just have like one point. So like what you were saying, was that all of this is from a male's perspective, and like, oh yeah, it's natural for the man to take the leading role, and you know, it's biological. I actually feel, and I think a lot of other women do as well, or like at least when I have conversations with my friends, it's actually so frustrating that men subconsciously, even when they don't realise they're doing it, kind of in the back of their head are thinking like, it's not like superiority, but it's like I'm gonna sort of like take the managerial role
It's
here.
sort of,
I am the CEO of this
It's sort of the way
relationship.
the man shows love by working
Yeah.
those hours and providing that sort of stuff.
Trying to be like a
But
breadwinner
then
and
why
stuff.
is a woman who's doing that for her kids as a single parent, why is that not considered her showing love by this monkey turd man?
Because he's saying he
that's a
screws up the
Mgtow
child.
guy. He's an,
But
Because it's Mgtow.
But what the
he's
fucking
an extremist,
Mgtow?
isn't he?
Yeah.
He's an extremist. No,
But no, but I feel like it might be how a man. I don't think it is him showing love though, because even if it's just males that I'm friends with, or like university professors, I used to get it all the time. Like if there's a group of guys, and I'm talking to a university professor, totally just like glazed over me because they have sort of like men stuff. Like I won't. I mean.
What do you mean? So like the professor would like say you have a question.
I have-
and be like, yeah, but
I
let's
have
see
an
what.
example.
Okay, sorry. Let's listen to
No,
what
no,
Jason
no.
has to say.
Okay. Giorgio, you remember Giorgio?
Yeah, Giorgio
Giorgio.
was like Italian, but not really.
Italian.
He just
No,
had
he
the
was
Italian.
very Italian. He was beautiful.
He had like the the Superman kill with the
Yeah.
hair. Yeah, he had that.
Mamma
Yeah.
mia.
And I was like,
Yeah, one time we were doing like some research thing, and so like there was me, three other guys, who are all like mutual friends of mine in the UK, so no names. One of them was Kyle though, and hi Kyle. Does Kyle watch these?
No.
Okay, fuck you, Kyle.
Kyle doesn't have time to watch this.
Kyle doesn't have time, but Kyle.
Yeah. Fuck Kyle.
Yeah, and anyway, he was talking to us about this certain type of research method that we were using, right? And he decided that he was going to explain it to the guys, and he sat me down in this chair and like started strapping all this fucking equipment to my head. And all the guys are talking about, oh yeah, the research is called transcranial direct current stimulation. Not important. They're kind of like having banter and stuff, and then he just turns to me and goes, "It's okay, you're a scientist too."
Yeah, some feminists call that mansplaining.
I was about to say it's mansplaining.
What?
Yeah,
But it's so funny because
Whoa,
it's
but
Giorgio. It's Giorgio.
It's
And
not.
you know
It's not
what?
mansplaining. It's kind of like condescending.
Yeah, which is
You know what I mean?
mansplaining is
Whereas he
condescending
grants
by
it might be his
nature.
culture.
But isn't mansplaining like what she's trying to say is?
Well, I wasn't even trying to say.
Oh,
I just
something.
I had fucking like electrodes on my head, so I was just sitting there
Right. So maybe
as a.
what if he was like, hey, you're also a scientist too. You're not just like an experiment.
No, but he was.
Could have just been a
That
joke,
thing,
innit?
no,
But
yeah.
you took it seriously.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a joke. He was genuinely like concerned that I felt like, oh, the men are talking. I can't get involved, and I was like, the only reason because I'm like, would you say I'm like I make my opinion?
Yeah, I've
No.
seen that.
No,
I've
okay.
seen that. When Tawonga was about to talk, you were like, no.
Oh,
We haven't
sorry.
got a condition called womansplaining.
You're
Exactly.
a, you're a scientist
so you're
too.
woman's planning right now.
That's
Like,
what they're-
I'm gonna let you finish, but
Yeah.
There's no womansplaining, but there's mansplaining and
Yeah.
spreading and all that
Well,
kind of malarkey.
Yeah. Well, no, but
Okay, I think this kind of on topic, kind of not. There was this video of a Russian woman.
Yeah.
So guys were, sitting, like guys sit, because, we have balls and stuff.
Mindscreed.
And then she was spilling bleach on men.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Sitting like this, yeah.
Saying that their
Manspread, they're taking up too
Putting
much
bleach
space.
on them.
in the
She was
general public,
pulling, yeah.
on the train and the bus and that.
I'm actually shocked no one swung at her, because that's Russia.
And
What
no,
happened?
That's Russia.
Like,
How
what
do you not
happened? How, like,
She was just going around doing that.
Yeah.
wasn't she?
but like, what happened to the guys? Surely, like, they got.
They'll just be like, oh, what the hell,
No,
why?
Did anything? The soy
They're
boys.
just,
Okay, I mean that is wrong of her to do that.
Yeah.
That's bad.
but, okay, so, what were you guys doing? Let me ask you a question. It's kind of taking us back a little bit, but do you think women desire to be submissive to a strongly confident and masculine man?
Some of them,
I think women are naturally more agreeable. So.
Right, so let me give you some context or some explanation. So he says the red pill community claims that when a woman is submissive to a man in a romantic relationship, it is a sign that their partnership is healthy and functional.
Who said that?
So it's just like where I got the questions from. Shout out Alexandra Grace. Follow us, we'll follow you.
So what you're saying is
Whatever.
it makes her low-key moist.
Yeah. So she likes the masculine leadership.
To be able to be dominant, but she knows
Yeah.
that it's safe to allow him to be dominant with her.
Yeah, so she doesn't have to make all the decisions or feel the pressure to make all the decisions.
Because when a man is indecisive, that makes her anxious.
And just a little bit more context. So they say, this is the red community speaking, of course, that contrary to the modern myth that women want to be equals with their partners, most women seek out a man of higher value than themselves. This is because in order to follow her deepest desire and completely submit to a man, she needs to feel he is masculine and confident enough to take control and be dominant in the relationship. So they encourage men to become more confident alpha males because it is only these types of men that will kind of unlock the deepest parts of a woman.
Isn't it also the testosterone that could be a leading part of that, as well as the woman's, what's the woman's?
Estrogen?
Estrogen.
Yeah.
What about it?
I can't remember what I was going to say.
Pheromones.
But I just wanted to I don't think this has anything to do, it could be.
Yeah, as in letting the man take the lead.
You know, like when, so you could say like a dominant man would like wolf whistle at a woman or something like that. Yeah, would you?
But whistle at a woman, because I think
wolf
I
whistle
think-
they call it.
yeah.
Oh no, but I feel
Like
like
catcalling.
Catcalling.
Yeah, not
The
necessarily.
thing I find it just slightly funny with that, it's about attraction. If it's an ugly guy catcalling you, you're like, oh my god, I'm so fed up with this. But like, if you find that guy attractive, obviously you're going to be like, yeah.
Yeah. Remember when that
Depends on the woman.
remember when that
No.
what's this? I think it happened like in 2017. There was that good looking
Don't do that.
Prisoner.
the prisoner, innit? And then they're like, hey, you can rob me anytime with the comments.
Yeah,
on the-
but I mean that was a joke.
thing.
He can be good looking. Like,
And he
you
got
can
he
say
got a
someone's good
modeling contract
Yeah.
right after jail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Imagine.
yeah.
good for him. Like we need to integrate ex-prisoners into society somehow.
That's good.
They want to sell their face. That's fine.
Not if they look ugly.
Okay, look, maybe they can do something like behind closed doors. We don't need to see them. They can like work in the kitchen.
back, in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
just like don't let them come around the front of the bar.
It's kind of pig still. One of my friends works in the back of the kitchen.
Yeah, is he ugly?
Big up, Saucer.
Oh, sorry, you know ugly.
Alright, here's a question.
Yeah.
In your ideal relationship or any good relationship you've had, were you submissive or would you say dominant?
I think, okay, I don't think I have a want to be submissive. I don't think I have a want to be dominant. I think this is what we were talking about earlier. I genuinely want to, like, be with someone
Equal?
kind of equal, like, but I...
Kind of equal, but not.
Okay, so no, obviously we're going to be different, like, people are different, that's a given. But I want a guy to know that I have like my own mind and I can be dominant about some things, and him to kind of like respect that and find it attractive. And I want to be able to do the same with him, but not necessarily in like a stereotypical gender nuclear role. Like I don't want him to be like you know, like I don't care if he is, but I don't, it's not a requirement that he like out earns me, or that, you know, he kind of dictates what we do. But like, I want intellectually and like humour, taste, how we spend free time to be sort of like matched. I would actually hate to date someone who sort of takes control. And this is the thing I was saying about men subconsciously like mansplaining and taking control, because like, I'm not saying you guys do it, but I've been with a lot of guys that subconsciously just kind of think that their taste and way of looking at things is like slightly finer, more finely tuned and like nuanced, and like they need to explain it to me, and I'm like, I fucking understand like the culture you're trying to tell me about, like, but
is that the men you're there, or is that like men in general?
The thing is,
so I feel like
okay, I am also like talking about myself, but sometimes it's the men that I date because I go for guys who have like similar interests as me, and it's kind of like, it's a bit obscure, but I feel like if I was a completely different person, like say if I was a woman who didn't have those interests, I would still go for a guy with similar interests, and he would, so say for example, like we had we both played tennis, I don't know, he would still feel like potentially he was a better sportsman than me, and that he'd need to like coach me in some ways. And I'm not saying that all men do that. I'm not, because I do it with guys sometimes. Like, I think that I know best, and I have like,
I mean,
you know,
we were just playing piano here, messing around, and you taught me something.
Yeah.
Right? That was pretty good.
But,
like, so I think it's good to have someone, you know, not that we're in a relationship or anything, to have someone who can like teach you something, just something to help you grow or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I think it's like a partnership. It's not like, you know.
Yeah, it's teamwork.
Yeah.
It's a good wrestling match between both.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because as well, like, would you want to be with a woman that just agreed to everything that you suggested? Yeah, I mean, like, you're smiling.
Like, it's kind of dead, isn't it? You'd lose respect for them. You'd be like, lick my ass. They'll lick your ass. And it's like, you actually did it.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think.
I can just imagine that. I don't know about that. You know, the door.
So you know you got to
get out. Oh Lord. Okay. Sorry, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I feel like when you view relationships like that, yeah, I actually hate being in the situation where I feel like slightly inferior to someone, like whatever sort of relationship it is. You know, no one likes feeling inferior, and like they just have to be agreeable. But I think like it's.
So would you respect an agreeable guy who's just always yes man?
If that's genuinely what he thought, and he defended his right to be agreeable, if he like fiercely was like, excuse me, but actually I think you'll find that it's okay if I'm agreeable, like I'm trying to be.
So that's not really agreeable, because he's actually standing up for
himself.
himself.
I know, that's what, yeah.
So,
I mean,
they have a word for them called simps or something like that.
Yeah, simps.
What's that short for?
Soy boys.
It's a guy who put pussy on pedestal, be agreeable all the time, do anything she says to do.
No.
There's a Black Mirror episode of a woman, her partner dies, and she gets like, have you seen it? It's like,
she like
she gets a
goes back.
robot version of him.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
That's a simp. That's a guy who, because he agrees with absolutely everything because he's a robot.
Yeah. No, I would. I mean, it would be nice if they like agreed to a certain extent, but like if they didn't have their own ideas or opinions or feelings or life, I think like, have you ever felt like you're in a relationship and you're kind of, it's like you're continuing to grow and this person's just kind of like had their growth stunted and they just sort of depend on you, and I've been that person as well that like relies on like a like boyfriend and is like, I just want them to like stop what they're doing and come home, and that honestly was because I wasn't in like a great mental place.
That's sort of what they call blue pill men as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
the blue pill man would be the knight in shining armour, the supplier.
No, that's
The
different
one
though.
who gives
Like,
the babies,
yeah.
looks after her, does all the work and the job, and pays for everything. Just want to say, always do purpose over pussy. And for women,
That's the golden
purpose over penis.
what?
Make sure you for women, purpose over penis.
Purpose over penis.
Make sure you got your purpose first.
Yeah.
Put that first.
Yep.
No matter how big or small.
Agenda over genitals for everyone.
Yeah, that's like some PC version.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I want to, you know,
Reach the PC audience.
yeah.
Doesn't matter. PC audience, you can subscribe, like,
Yeah.
and share as well.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah. Do you think it's okay to judge a man based on his health, his wealth, and status?
Like, if it was like, if I was looking into how to become rich quick and there was someone that could tell me how to do it, then like, yeah, I'm gonna be like.
Okay, so let me. You said something smart, but without context. Okay, so let me give you some context. In today's age, a lot of men are made to feel superficial and shallow because they judge a woman based on her appearance rather than her personality.
Yeah.
The red pill community claims this is hypocritical because while men might superficially judge a woman as a sex object, women are just as likely to superficially judge a man as a success object.
He's state of value.
Yeah.
He's a high
So-
value male.
So glossing over his personality and assigning him a value based on his wealth and status.
Sorry, am I talking too much? I feel like
I want you to talk too
Okay.
much. I
Well,
also want some discussion. Go on.
so personally, I feel like it's not necessarily wealth and status, but it's almost like success. And by success, I don't mean by the metrics of wealth and status. I mean, say if you're really passionate about something and you know you're really in it and you dedicate your life to it, that I would find that pretty impressive because I think that's quite brave. Like, you know, there's stuff in my life that I would love to do that's creative, but realistically I won't because I'm kind of like scared. So if like a guy did that, I'd find that impressive. Or if he, you know, really cared about something, I think people with passions are impressive. If someone has money, it's weird actually. Like, I think I'm actually intimidated by wealth. Does that make sense? You know,
That makes sense.
You know, if I was like dating a guy that was like super flashy, I would be like,
Well, different class.
I mean, it would be, yeah, it would be nice to be like, sort of, like, I don't know, like,
Catered to.
yeah, but at the same time it would be like, oh, I feel a bit, and there's wealth in money, and then there's sort of like wealth in knowledge. Like, I think I am more drawn to people that maybe a kind of like accumulate like knowledge and want to be able to discuss stuff and read. Like, who was the guy that said if you go back to someone's, if you go home with someone and they don't have books, don't fuck them?
I don't know.
Okay.
Was
Well, it's like Facebook.
Osho?
Hmm?
Was it Osho? Osho
He
or
wouldn't have said that.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, but point is, guys these days, like these sort of like millennial businessmen, whatever.
entrepreneurs?
Like, say for example, yeah, like if they have a fucking like Jordan Peterson book, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no. But I feel like.
Wait, what?
Why?
You don't even know.
What's wrong with
this
that?
is,
What
this is
Jordan?
like.
Why are you
this is like-
hating on the P?
I think it's with the thing with Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
Oh no, let's not.
Most people are just like they're missing his whole message because of the politic.
Wait, yeah, but-
What's the politic? Say it.
Political.
The political
The
side of it?
political
or
side of it.
Yeah.
That's what did skyrocket.
Yeah, that's what put him in.
a little, as well as the Joe Rogan podcast. But if you actually watch his lectures,
Joe Rogan.
if you watch his lectures on meaning, the maps of meaning lectures, they are so good. They help so much. They really do. And the individual.
Have you seen
He's
any?
got such good work out there that could really save a man or a woman's life, hands down.
And they do. Like, he always talks about how people come up to him saying like, "Oh yeah, you've changed my life.
Yeah.
This, and that."
And that's cool. That's
It's
cool
really
for
sad
them, but
that
like,
happens.
it's
That-
just not.
Well, what's your issue with Jordan Peterson?
Oh, so many things.
Top 3 reasons.
I do know why I don't like him, but I.
Is it to do with wait? Is it to do with the transgender sort of thing?
Yeah.
That he wouldn't use their
So-
pronouns.
Yeah.
So freedom of speech, because why
It's
he's
not
saying
fair.
that? Why he's saying that is because in Canada now, these like extreme lefts are going to laws where now if you can't pronounce someone by their pronoun, their preferred pronoun, even accidentally, you can get arrested. Get
Okay,
jail
that is
time.
wrong. That is wrong. But this,
That's why
like,
he's
this
sort
is
of like.
like I feel like people like him make everything so bipolar. It's like we either have to have it one way or another way. And you know, if you're like left, you're like extreme leftist. Like, you know, like there needs to be like some sort of like push and pull and like some middle ground.
But he's trying
But
to
I
say,
don't-
because he's trying, like, on that, he's trying to say that, okay, we've identified the extreme right, you know, we know when that can go too
Yeah.
far, right? Like, the Nazis, the Soviet Union, I'm guessing, and,
TK.
oh,
That's a Nazi. I'm half Jewish.
yeah, oh, right, okay.
TK loves to just
Talk
hate
about
on me
Nazis.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right,
alright.
so-
I think they're just words. We only put value on them. Remember, we put emotions onto them.
I like that,
They're
yeah.
just words. You can say anything. It's down to you. It's down to us how we react to it.
Freedom of speech, is that, yeah, right. So, like, he's saying,
You're
okay,
both Nazis then.
I'm
Okay.
not a Nazi,
Okay. I know I'm not, but if you want to say that,
No, I'm kidding.
yeah.
we know.
Right, so he's like saying like no one's really identified and said like, oh yeah, that's extremely left, and hence like, you know, them
But people have.
who's extremely left.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said people are not identifying what is like.
Yeah, so
extreme left.
people on the left will not say like, okay, these guys have been too extreme.
But
on
they,
the
but
left.
they do. I just did. I just said that was wrong, and I think a lot of people who would say that they're liberal would agree with me.
So why would you
The,
hate that about Jordan Peterson? Because he's saying
I'm
like,
not saying I hate that about him. I'm saying generally, I don't.
It's only
Yeah.
because it's what it leads to, as we spoke in the
Yeah.
chat before, about like the schools implementing it to like nurseries and stuff, and asking a boy or a girl at a young age whether they want to be a female or male today.
or what they identify as.
It's
Yeah,
what,
that's-
it's
I
what
mean,
it's
that's-
leading
yeah,
up to,
that's fine.
and to me that's a wise man who can see, a wise person who is the one who can see what stuff leads to. And if we had like the alt-right extremism, that which would be against like pro-choice, then that would make that a law. So like the extreme left would make freedom of speech, that sort of thing. That would make that law. So the extreme leftism is actually
Sorry.
going into law. So you're not allowed
Oh
to
right,
say
I see.
that.
So it's like okay, so it's like if extreme right says something, it's like whoa, that's too out there. Like, you know, like banish them. But if it's extreme left, it's like oh, we have to be PC and consider that this could
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Right, I get what you're saying. No, and I do agree with that. I don't think that those things should be considered like they shouldn't even go through like any sort of like legal process or like try to be like legitimized, but. Are they?
Well, yeah, that's what's happening. I think
Quite a
what's
few
Bill
countries now.
C16 or something.
In Slovenia,
Yeah.
Slovenia, maybe is that the right word? It's happening there as well.
Oh.
And maybe I might be wrong about this, but maybe Romania. But I think I'm wrong about
In
that.
Romania,
Yeah,
I
I
would be
think I'm
really
wrong
fucking
about that.
surprised because I would be surprised if they did it in Slovenia, but more so in Romania because they're like not well known for being.
And it's pretty
most-
scary. Like
Yeah.
in the future, people be afraid to talk, be afraid to say anything. And like I said before in the CAF about like if we say that's okay then I'm gonna be like a Chinese female 8-foot individual. Or
So,
animals.
like,
it's even
like,
going to animals now.
where's the line, basically?
Yeah, exactly. And I think postmodernism is like partly to
blame
blame for it as well.
Yeah, that's where most of this is coming from. I don't really know much about it to articulate it properly, but it's kind of linked to like Marxist philosophy as well. Communism, all of that, feminist agenda, intersection. What do you think about intersectional feminism?
Yeah, what is that?
So, alright, so intersectional feminism is basically feminism, but also adding race, adding class.
Oh, right, sorry,
adding all of that. So, like, you know, these discriminatory lines intersect as well.
I think.
So basically, it sucks to be a disabled black lesbian